Hey, Random Call here. Did you know that the Framework Laptop 16's input modules are actually running firmware based on QMK? That means they come with all of the cool features that QMK has for other keyboards as well, and the firmware is entirely open source, which means anyone can modify it, patch it, and then reprogram it onto their devices. That includes the nifty Numpad module, but unfortunately it's suffering from a bit of a bug. That bug revolves specifically around the equal key on the Numpad. While under normal conditions it will type an equal sign as it should, if you use the Shift key, it will actually type a plus, which is technically not correct. According to this GitHub issue right here, that is because the keycode mapping is wrong. See, keypads actually have separate keycodes that they send for numbers and for symbols, and that includes the equal sign. So we gotta fix this. Gladly, I do think the fix for this is very simple, and since I already had hacking experience with the QMK firmware before on my GMMK Pro, I decided to dig into the code and change one line. However, if you're following along, there is actually a README in the repository that will tell you how to build the firmware yourself. Unfortunately, they also made the mistake of copy-pasting that command for the flashing instructions. Gladly, they did not forget to include the instructions on how to get into bootloader mode. That would have been rather inconvenient. Running the compile command doesn't actually take long, and if you've run it before, it takes even less time. But before we can flash the freshly built firmware, we actually have to reseat the Numpad module and then hold down the 2 and 6 key while reinserting the Numpad. This will actually enter bootloader mode and pop up a new flash drive that appears on the computer. The flash drive also curiously calls itself RPi RP2. What is this, a Raspberry Pi? Hint hint. If you're running KDE, you have to mount it, otherwise this will not work. If you run the flash command, as I did on the screen, it will detect the drive and write the new firmware file as a file to that drive, and then trigger reboot, and that should work. Since I'm on Linux, I'm using the evtest command to make sure that the correct keycode now comes through. And it does, which is awesome. And that's how easy it is to customize the firmware and flash it onto your input modules on the Framework Laptop 16. In fact, someone else has already done something awesome with this. On the Framework Community Forum, there's a post by someone who has implemented a visualizer for tracks playing on their computer. And that is just amazing to look at. Anyways, that's it. Bye!